Good Wednesday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and SUVs and motorcycles and dogs. Here's all the dogs, and there's one of my stickers. I got updated stickers. Nobody's wanting those new stickers. I'm kind of surprised, but yeah, whatever, right? Come on, girl, let's go. Come on, my little dogs here. Oh my gosh, did a late start. Wow. Oh my gosh. Good morning there. Thanks for tuning to my channel. And wow, that's just one of those mornings where I'm having a hard time getting going. I just worked late into the evening last night, and it's paying off dearly today. It's playing out dearly. And wow, what is going on today, right? It's actually cool. The cooler weather definitely is here now. We're supposed to be getting 70s for the rest of the week here. Not much humidity, so the change of seasons here. And wow, it's new to my channel or doesn't really know my channel. I think anybody would probably go, this here's a greedy YouTuber like I've never seen before in my life. I mean, I've kind of had those comments. Come on, girl, let's go. Where's the other boy? Where's Scouty? I can only imagine somebody would be kind of like, look at all the guys' cars, trucks, motorcycles. The guy's just got to be a greedy SOB. I mean, I get that. I can understand. My channel doesn't really know me through all my antics and stories. I would take that assumption as well. And that was one thing I didn't want to do, is make a YouTube channel, because I thought that the arrogance would kind of be to so many more of the message. They'd be like, this guy just has too much money, too many toys. He just flaunts it. He's just, all about me. And I just didn't want to do a channel. And I really hope that is not being really the conveyed message, because that really isn't who I am. And the thing is, I'm not really, everybody thinks I'm rich as can be, but I'm not, because I have car payments, I have truck payments, I have motorcycle payments, I have house payments, I have business payments. I mean, the payments are through the roof. So I'm not this guy that just has wads of cash and money sitting around and able just to go buy everything cash and outright owned. It's not. If I ever was to take some hard hits in my business, you would all of a sudden see this stuff start to disappear, and it would be repossessed. It wouldn't be sold, because the value of these vehicles that I put $20,000 down, I'll put like $2,000 or $3,000 down to buy these vehicles, maybe $5,000, maybe, and then I'm just buried in them. Like that Ford Lightning truck, that damn thing, I'm buried in that thing. I paid $100,000 that damn thing last year. I should have never done it. Should have never done it. Even though I made money off my first one, my silver one. Yeah, was I a fool? A fool. That Mustang Mach-E back there, I buried a ton of freaking money into that vehicle on trading two vehicles, a Ford Expedition and a Ford Explorer, or my Ford Ranger or something like that, for that vehicle back there. So it's got negative numbers. That's got negative equity into it. So if you watch my channel, they could definitely say that's a greedy son of a bee. But the thing is, I support a lot of other people. And Jesus Christ, how many bankers do I support? How many car dealerships do I support? How many salesmen do I support? How many insurance company people do I support? How many motorcycle dealers do I support? I mean, you can start going through the list for me of where all the money goes to everybody else to help support them. So the message today is greed. I thought we had the pay conversation. We had that on Monday. Then we had the gone conversation. And so I think myself, with this new union UAW thing, I got to thinking, wow, why don't we have the greed conversation? Does anybody feel like the amount of money, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. Here's the Harleys. I tell you what, I've had people really reach out and we talk about the bikes, comments, and I tell you what, I just think the Indian, Jesus Christ. I just think the Harley has the badass look to it. I really do. I just really think, I just like this Ford Tremor truck right here. I just think this is a badass looking truck. I just think it's a great, I love this truck. Ever since I put in these retractable steps, I just can't emphasize enough how I now love riding around this truck. This truck has 41,000 miles on it. I paid like $70,000 for this used 2020 truck. Ford, that's what we're going to talk about too, is Ford just updated the F-150 2024 model. So Ford seems just to constantly be refreshing these trucks. But I'm going to walk outside here. Here's the Ford Power Boost which I got rid of my Ford Raptor, brand new 2022 Ford Raptor for 2023 Ford Power Boost Platinum package. Expensive as all get out, but already Ford has updated the front end. They've offered now a modular front bumper for a winch setup. I really like that idea. That's pretty cool. They did the interior update, refresh a little bit, and they make a heads-up display. They've made the towing capability now from 12.5 to 13,000 pounds. They've eliminated the 3.3 V6 motor that's no longer available. They replaced it with the 2.7 liter motor, which I owned the 2.7 liter motor in my Wild Track Broncos. Well, those things have like 330 horsepower and 400 foot-pounds of torque. And that 2.7 motor was awesome. That was a 3.0 motor in it. And so then they got the 3.5 motor, which is different variations. If you get the Power Boost, you get like 430 horsepower, 570 foot-pounds of torque. If you don't get the Power Boost, then you're looking the 400 horsepower range and like 500 foot-pounds of torque, or the Raptor motor, or you get the 5.0 gas Coyote motor, and it's the weakest, borderline. You know, it's a 400 horsepower, 400 foot-pounds of torque. I don't know why you even buy the V8 motor anymore. Or you go to the 5.2 Raptor truck, where it's a 600 or 770 horsepower, or whatever it may be. But anyways, Ford has offered a new tailgate. So they've gone to the Ram. You go to the back of your tailgate, and the tailgate split in half, so it's like a door. So now it's like a door, and you can actually open up the back, which I think that's pretty cool. So nice stuff. Anything that would make me want to get rid of this for 2024? No. I mean, there's no way I would go trade this. They redid the front end. I tell you, the Chevy and the Ford are starting to look so similar. It's kind of crazy. The new Ford looks like the Chevy Silverado in so many aspects. So, and the Ford Lightning, yeah, the Ford Lightning, that's a fail. The people are not buying these Ford Lightnings. These Ford Lightnings, people, and that's a whole conversation with Jim Farley now, is that this Ford Lightning truck is not selling like they thought it would. And they're now going to ramp up. They're going to like quadruple the production of the hybrid setup, like what I have, the Power Boost, the electric motor, which is attached to the transmission with the gas engine. And that's really what people want. The people really don't want the all electric because they want to tow. So many people buy these trucks want to tow. And if you watch my video from last summer, not this summer, you'll see a whole video of me towing that measly little trailer right there. And you can only go about 80 miles before you have to recharge the vehicle. And this vehicle here, you have no problem towing that vehicle and going, 200, 300 miles. So it's basically triple the mileage to go and pull things. So Jim Farley's raising his hand going, hey, we're going to focus more on building hybrid gas electric setup because that's what the customer wants. Wow. Hey, can you ask everybody before you spend all that money, Mr. Jim Farley, what the customers wanted? Why don't you take a survey at the dealerships? Why don't you ask your managers and your personnel of what you think people would want? I mean, this sounds like the government to me. I mean, the greed, that's one of the things I'm talking about, greed this morning, is wow. The greed of the green agenda is bad. It really is. The green agenda people are very greedy people. And we'll talk more about that here in a second. Let me get in the office, get the day going. And, yeah, the motorcycles. Yeah. I'm just leaning more than ever towards the Harley product. I certainly think this Harley-Davidson ST is nicer than the Scout or the Sport Chief. I think it really is. I'd buy a Harley-Davidson Lowrider S or ST before I'd buy the Indian product. Just from you out there, I would buy the Harley-Davidson Road Glide CVO all day long over the Indian products. I mean, I just think that Harley-Davidson's done a great job on updating their product. I think more is to come. All right, Pops, let's go. Get up here, get some more coffee, and get the day going on the greed conversations. And, yesterday I was just doing a lot of reading. I didn't sleep at all last night. I mean, I literally, my other dog, He's a cheater dog. Where's the other dog? The other Wheaton Terrier. He's just not hanging out with us. He's like hanging out with mommy's boy, my wife. What's that all about, right? Yeah, I didn't sleep much at all last night. Jesus Christ. So I spent a lot of time reading things, which I really do enjoy doing that, because hopefully things I'm reading I can share with you, and you can get something out of these conversations. And here's the Ice Age TV sticker that I offer through my Gmail account. Yeah, that's a whole other conversation here about Google, but it's the Ice Age TV comments at gmail.com. If you want one, you get one for free. I mean, I don't know if you really want to promote my channel or just promote that you're the internal combustion engine age person and you're to fight to keep it going. And I think that the consumers in this country are starting to send a message to Ford that they just don't like your greedy intentions of charging us way too much for an electric vehicle and the subsidies that are being given to them. I mean, that's what's so crazy. It's just the greed. The greed really came from me reading about all the union people wanting these bigger pay raises. And don't get me wrong, I want everybody to make a ton of money. I want everybody to have whatever I have. I mean, in all sincereness, I have material things, but if they all went away, it's not going to change who I am. I mean, that's just who I am. I've had my ups and downs. And does the material things make me get out of bed every day? They don't. I mean, if that was the case, I mean, you just have to think it through. You have workers in life, and then you have the people that want the handouts in life. And we know who those people are. And the very successful people usually are workers. It doesn't matter how much money they have, how much material things they have, they're still working. That's what drives them. They're workers. Look at Elon Musk. I mean, that guy can stop working right now. He doesn't need another. How rich is that guy? As Elizabeth Warren is trying to drag him into court over the treasonous activities of turning off the Starlink from Ukraine at the beginning of the Ukraine-Russia war. It's like, oh my God, we need to haul all of you politicians into court for treasonous acts of supporting the illegal immigration in this country that it's the highest it's ever been. And look at Eric Adams in New York City, the fiasco there. You can go through the list. These sitting federal officials, they're the ones committing treason. They're the ones that are letting our country, in so many ways, be circumvented like you've never seen before in modern times. These are the treasonous people. The treasonous people are in power right now. They allow for illegal immigration and support it like never ever seen and pay for it like never ever seen. But yeah, let's go haul Elon Musk in to go intimidate him to shut the hell up. That's all it is. That's all. And I said that yesterday. You're going to start hearing about that more than ever. But here's the thing. So back to the greed. The greed. I mean, right now, the UPS Teamsters Union, they've received a heck of a pay package, a 30% increase pay package. The the airline pilots, they've received a 40+ compensation union pay package. UAW is fighting tooth and nail to get now it's in the 30%, high 30% range, not 40% range, compensation package for the employees. And I just hear myself, wow. And so Sean Fain's position is that these CEOs of these big automotive companies make far too much money, and he's going to follow the same thing they've done in their eyes. I mean, I'm with you. The greed beyond greed of these big executives, of these big board members, that the select few get to make all the money and most of them don't. So it's greed beyond greed because it's them self-enriching themselves. You just think about how so many CEOs get a $20 million, $30 million, $40 million in 1 year. You start adding up this lady from General Motors, whatever her name is, Barara or whatever, Maria, she's been like the CEO now for like 10+ years. That lady probably now has maybe $1 billion. Yeah, she's been making 20 million, 40 million, 30 million, 50 million. 10 years, all of a sudden that turns into $500 million. She invested it right, did things right with it. Does she have $1 billion net worth? Possibly. Here's the oil, the greed of the Saudi Arabians that are trying to drive the barrel of oil back up. We're back up to basically $90 barrel oil. So that's from the Russians. I just can't get over. And how last year this sitting administration telling everybody how they're going to cut off Russia from their oil capabilities, and oh man, it's going to shut down Russia, and you're going to do this and do that, and they're going to shut down China from having our technology and semiconductors. Yet here's Apple releasing their new iPhone 15, and they're trying to keep the pricing, the greed within reason of what they're already getting out of it, and so the here's my wife calling me. So why is she doing that? Which I have no idea. Which I'll have to take a time out on that. Oh, that changes the whole conversation because I'm talking about what was I even talking about? The wife is stuck in traffic. The wife's stuck in traffic. The wife has to go to the dentist, and she's not used to going. She goes a whole different way to work every day. So she's having to go a different way, and she gets a taste of what I deal with. So she's just in bumper to bumper traffic. Now I'm telling her, okay, well, you have to turn around, come back, go up this road, go back that road, this side road that goes over that road. Yeah, these stories, this area here, it's just the worst. Yeah, so the greed wasn't even, it's for me, just total loss of focus here. But it's the whole point is, so the CEOs are making so much money. So Sean Fain of the UAW, his position is that all these people are underpaid and everything else. But then, for us, it's just is I'm sure anybody watching my channel has to have the same feeling I have, that the last 3 years, the greed of the automotive industry and these car dealerships has gone through the roof. It's gone through the roof. And I'm the first to raise my hand that, I'm the first idiot that supports this stuff. But at the same time, that's just, yeah, right. I just go buy stuff. That's just who I am. But for the average person, it's just it's just aggravating as all get out, because we've witnessed on how the car prices have gone through the roof. And now here we have the union, UAW, pound their fists that they're underpaid. And you just think to yourself, okay, let's go ahead and triple these guys, basically double these guys' pay. And what's going to be the price now for the future of the cars? And I think most people here would be like, yeah, the cars are going to be more expensive. Everything's going to be more expensive. And the big three's concern is they're going to, price themselves out of the manufacturing market to other competitors. And that's the big argument. And yes, and so you think to yourself, is that the greed? Who's greedy? Then it turns into it goes on all the time in big business, small business. Then it turns into who's greedy? Well, the big guys making all the money, they need to take big pay cuts to give back to the people that work for them. But oh yeah, good luck on that one. Yeah, good luck to the board members, stockholders. Seeing that the profits. They start. You now start enriching all the employees. It sends the message that you're now running a business that's going to run itself into the ground, because people look more of a CEO can be replaced. A CEO can take a pay cut if times get challenging. Once you give everybody double everybody's income, and then times come hard, to try to reverse that, it never works. It never works. If anybody here works for a company and you're making $100,000 a year and times get dire straits, and the owner that has stole the freaking money tells you you're going to make $50,000 a year, what happens? It's an exit. It's an exodus. And that's what you create. Because the person like, screw this. The business owner made all his money and he's richer than all get out. And now he wants me to take a pay cut, but he won't sell his McMansion house. He won't sell his Porsche. He won't sell his boat, but he wants me to take the pay cut. Who doesn't know these, stories? And that's the challenge for us in society. And I think to myself, are we living in a society today at the biggest amount of greed ever seen? I think we are. I think you can go from private to private sector or public sector, government sector. I think you can really step back and start saying, wow, the amount of greed that we are witnessing is beyond believable. The housing market in so many ways has been ruined by the Airbnb type of person. A person that wants to go out and buy 5, 10 homes to rent them out. And since they can make them profit centers, they go out and buy these homes, and they'll pay more money for these homes in the right markets. That drives up the pricing of houses because they know they can rent them out, and they can then justify paying more money for the home. So is that greed? In so many ways it is, because it's the individual that now has control, like the monopoly board, of controlling the housing market, because they're like, hey, this is great. I got 10 homes I can rent out. I'm now making 20, 30 grand a month doing this type of business model. And yeah, I'm glad the housing market continues to go up, because after I kind of have my day with this, I'll be able to sell that $500,000 home that used to be $250 for $1 million. And that's the mentality you have. And I mean, just wow. And then I was thinking to myself about how on the green agenda, I mean, think this through. The green agenda is greedier beyond greedy that we've ever seen. This sitting administration is the most greediest sitting administration in modern times, or possibly ever, because of this IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act. This is billions and billions of dollars being handed out to all these businesses to create the so-called cleaner future and the cleaner manufacturing. The list goes on and on and on. But this is extremely expensive. It's at the taxpayer's expense. I was reading this morning about how the Pete Buttigieg, or whatever the hell the Secretary of Transportation's name is, he's even raising his hand saying, yeah, the electric charging infrastructure is challenging. They say 1 out of 5 electric charging stations don't even operate. And so now they're going to allocate, millions of dollars, if not $1 billion, to update all these outdated charging stations and all these charging stations that aren't being maintained properly. And so, watch my channel, watch my June of last year of me driving to Tennessee and back and seeing how the charging infrastructure is so challenging, not only finding a place to get it charged, but once you get there, the charging station doesn't work, or the gas station's closed down, or the Sam's Club or Walmart or whatever has charging stations that repaving the frickin' drive, the whole area where you need to go get your vehicle charged, and there's no other nearby charging stations. And you don't have the Tesla, capability, because Tesla's slowly rolling out their infrastructure to be available to everybody else. That's, where Elon Musk is getting paid for his, is he being greedy? Is Elon Musk being greedy for being, he built out his own network and he won't share with others, but now he is. But I'm sure there's monies to be paid for that. Just like Google. There's Google now, a major antitrust, suit that's just going to start happening as we speak. Google is being challenged by the Department of Justice, Securities and Exchange, whatever all these different, divisions are of the government that oversees businesses that they think are doing illegal things to benefit themselves. And whether you believe it or not, I was just talking about Google the other day, of the original founders of Google that got all their buddies to input data to be able to give you the search capability. And here we go, just one of those mornings. And so the point is, Google is the main search engine. If you buy an Apple phone, it's automatically programmed for Google. And Google actually pays Apple, this is factual, billions of dollars to put their search engine as their default for the Apple phone. And some Droid phones, who has, it's Google, it's Droid for the most part. And so Microsoft's pissed off. Other search engine companies are pissed off. And they're going after Google because it's the dominant tool used for the search engines and information. So they're now going to be going through the September, October hearings, November come to closure, comments, and will Google be sued and then be forced that Apple no longer can be enriched by Google being paid billions of dollars to default their browser to be Google search engine. Wow. Yeah, the greed, right? So there's the greed. So, but here's back to the Pete guy. I got the thing I saw this morning. It's incredible on how the agendas get such favoritism, and that's how the taxpayers are the default. Talk about a default, automatic default for the future of the the green agenda, beyond believable, of the amount of money is being spent to create the what if end result. And the taxpayers are the default payment person to create all this. And I'm thinking, when has this country had, I don't know. Here it kind of gets deep, but anybody out there that's really deeper into this than I am, was the oil industry per se funded by the taxpayers? I mean, did the government hand out money left and right to the oil companies to become what they are today? And don't get me wrong, I know there's a monopoly and all this sort of stuff, but did the taxpayers, back in the early 1900s, were they required to help build the gas stations? And I mean, they were help build the roadways, I know that, but the gas stations collected road taxes to help build out the roads. That's the gas tax on fuel. You can have 50 cents and up to $1 a gallon or more in California for the road taxes and public infrastructure that's taxed on each gallon of gas. So the whole point is, are we now in the most greediest government entitlement ever in this country? And that did the original kind of transportation sector take off this country by getting the people to pay for the infrastructure to be built for the gas station industry and the car industry, the automobile industry? I mean, I don't think that happened. But yet today, that's what's going on more than ever. The greed of the green agenda activist position is, I don't care how much money it's going to take to get this ice age out of my hair, out of my sight, out of my smell. We will pay anything. We'll suffer any consequences to get rid of these fossil fuels. And you're already seeing more here lately. It seems like the activists are starting to populate here, left and right. The constant, it's not good enough. Things are not moving quick enough. It's not good enough. So we're going to start making even more of our presence of creating havoc for others because you can't drive an ICE vehicle. I mean, wow. I mean, once these people figure out that these EV vehicles really aren't saving the world, what are they going to do to those? I mean, that's going to be the real deal at the end of the day. I can't see that the EV vehicles really at the end of the day are going to save the world. It's such a massive undertaking to transform the world of getting away from ICE and fossil fuel. I mean, you're talking about so many poor countries. You're talking about here's the other thing. The greed now is the Saudi Arabia is now trying to go from the pumping oil out of the ground, from scratching the Earth's surface to mining operations, and they're now out there adamantly trying to find the mining operations and start buying those up to control them. I mean, that's the whole next thing is the greed of mankind will go from pumping oil to creating these quarries and these major mining operations that you just think that the destruction of Mother Nature is going to even be even more seen than ever before, because you can see these quarries with your eyes. You can see to the degree, not the mining so much, but at the same time, this oil has been always underground, pumping oil out of the ground. But when you start seeing these massive holes in the Earth's surface from these major mining to get lithium and cobalt, magnesium, nickel, the list goes on, iron, copper, it's going to be a major undertaking to take care of the growth of the electric battery infrastructure and the electric vehicles infrastructure as well. And what comes with that? What comes with it is everything to be so much more expensive from the greed of mankind of having to create this new infrastructure that they're looking for others to pay their way in so many ways. I mean, and that's the UAW's big concern, is this transformation from the ICE age to EV age. They so strongly feel that the jobs are going to be a third to half of the jobs required for the future of building and manufacturing these vehicles, because it's just going to be such a universal one major platform, that's going to create so many different vehicles, and the components that you put together on an EV vehicle versus an ICE vehicle. I mean, it's a major difference. And that's why the big three is very concerned that they get locked into these very expensive, high wages. They're not going to be able to compete with the likes of China, who's on our doorstep, with bringing these electric vehicles more so than ever and changing the whole just infrastructure of the big three's dominance in our own country. But it's already happened in Europe. And in China, where Volkswagen has been the most dominant vehicle seller for years, it's not happening anymore. BYD is. Build your dream. I mean, so there's just so many Chinese, the Chinaman, right? Yeah, it's just always about it's always about the cars. It's always about the motorcycles, right? I mean, isn't that the main thing that drives this country's economy? I mean, sincerely, take away the cars, take away the motorcycles, take away the gas stations, take away the car dealerships. I mean, we're a third world country. I mean, instantly. I mean, the whole infrastructure of everything that revolves around this whole country has to deal with selling gasoline, gas and oil, cars and trucks, the transportation, motorcycles. But yet we have these so-called experts that are the green agenda, greedy ass individuals more than ever we've seen ever in our lifetime that are telling us how to remake the whole transportation sector and telling us, suck it up, buttercup, and you just have to pay for it. But here's Jim Farley starting to really see the light that this country isn't wanting to go that direction. It really doesn't want to go, but yet we're sitting here and witnessing the Joe Biden administration funding monies never seen to big business to revolutionize the whole green agenda thing. That's extremely expensive. And you just have to say to yourself, when does the light switch turn off? Just like right now, everybody's speculating that this so-called hot economy is going to come, to a wall. Yeah, right. It's always about tomorrow. I get all that. And that's my whole point. The green agenda person knows how it plays out tomorrow. And if that just doesn't irritate the heck out of you, what doesn't? You have friends, you have family, we have politicians, we have leaders, and they start telling you how things are going to play out. And you've been around long enough, you're like, you don't know how it's going to play out. Okay, we're in a Ukraine-Russia war. We've got sitting powers to be that, we just have Ukraine $1 billion this time. That'll take care of it. Oh, no, they need another $50 billion this time. Oh, what they need another. I mean, the list goes on, and it'll go on and on. Is this going to be like the Afghanistan war? Probably. I mean, remember, Russia was in Afghanistan way long before we were. Weren't they there like 10 plus years? And now here's Kim Jong-un from North Korea butting up with Vladimir. I mean, in so many ways, you talk about the transitioning of the powers to be, the dictatorships, the communist countries, more than ever, are they starting to get an upper edge in hand over us as they buddy up together? Yeah, wow. Yeah, who knows? How does that all play up, right? That turns into be a very expensive mistake for all of us. Talking about greed, beyond greed, what does Vladimir Putin want? Is it the greed? Is it he wants his country back? He wants the resources to that origin of the country? I mean, what's going on? Is it he's concerned about the nuclear capability, all the recklessness of Ukraine? I don't know. I mean, it gets deep and heavy. Anyways, all right, I'm going to kind of leave it at that. But hey, the Ford F-150 truck, if you want to get 2024, you can actually order one today. And they say that if you're going to order a Raptor, you used to have 46 configurations to order a Raptor truck. They've now taken it down. You only have 6 options. I mean, oh my gosh. What the heck? You're telling me you go to build a Ford Raptor truck, you have 46 different ways to build it? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So Ford is trying to streamline the more efficient way of ordering trucks, not be as complicated, but are these vehicles going to be less money? I don't see it. I don't see it happening. And to see what you're paying for these vehicles, and you talk about the greed. I mean, I just think if you look around us more than ever, I mean, yeah, I'll be the first to raise my hand. Somebody say, well, yeah, man, you're Mr. Iceman. You're the first guy that can be called out in that. I'm like, yeah, in so many aspects, right. I don't disagree. But the reality is the banks own all this stuff. I don't. And that's the reality. Will I keep all this stuff forever? Nah. I'll have my moment with it and time with it. Then they just go bye-bye. And do I downsize? Eventually, yeah, I have no choice. So, but for the commitment of the green agenda, in this city administration handing out the billions of dollars for companies for the what if of how things play out in the future. Who pays for that? If the mistakes, I mean, we've seen the Solandra, we've seen the company that tried to create the electric battery that I talked about in great length back in 2004 or 5 from the Texas University, that how they went bankrupt even though the government handed out millions of dollars. I mean, who hasn't seen these exact same things play out before, where the government starts getting involved in business and then they start handing out wads of money, but at the end of the day it all just goes broke, and then who's on the hook to pay for it back besides you and I? Yeah, right. Yeah, the greed of the politicians. Ain't my money, who cares? The greed of government employees. Is it, hey, it's not really my problem. I mean, it's what the people want, right? I mean, that gets deep and heavy. I get all that. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for watching the channel. And the greed among us. I truly believe that we are living in the greediest times ever, because everybody wants to make a ton of freaking money, but that's been going on for years and years. But the question is, for everybody making a ton of money, is everything going to be so freaking expensive that, and there's a whole other article I read last night, that my age group, people 60 plus years old, the amount of people becoming homeless is growing at the fastest pace ever because of the greed of the people that own properties that want to charge people rent is gone through the roof. The greed of what people want for transportation to buy a car has gone through the roof. The greed of healthcare, the greed of the food. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So sadly, many, many people in their mid to late 60s, they just can't make enough money anymore to be able to be self-sufficient, and they're now living out of their car. And it's growing more than ever in this country that we've ever witnessed. So, wow. All right, everybody, thanks for watching once again. I got to go to work. I got to get motivated. Yeah, I'm just like, another day of continuing to support the greed. I got to go make a living. I got to earn an income to pay the friggin' bills. If I don't go to work, then that doesn't happen. Who doesn't know these stories? So, hey, God bless. Stay safe. Stay tuned. What's the next venture? I have no idea. I really don't. So, have a great day. Go to work. Save some money. I don't know.